Hello everybody and happy Veterans Day. Today we're coming in at round 2 of the tournament. I was a little late because I was hitting up those sweet deals. We have Scey versus Siberia. Now Scey's been on the channel many times. I'm not so sure about Siberia. What does Siberia have? That supply specialist seems pretty good. Same with the aerial specialist. I somewhat remember this avatar, but everybody can have the same avatar, so who knows. Scey coming in with the quick supply specialist. That's not something we see too often within these tournaments. Now we do have the addition of a new unit. Round 1 in the tournament, we did see it deployed a couple of times. It is the Wraith, a mobile artillery air platform with medium range, but it does have 4 separate gun turrets on it, kind of in the same vein as the War Factory, being able to shoot many different, its guns in many different angles. So can the new Wraith. Interesting pickup here by Siberia. I often do this as well. When I have steel balls and Fang opening, I will go with the supply specialist and grab a unit of Mustang, just because Mustang perform exceedingly well pretty much throughout the entirety of the game, but in this case it's going to be used as a little bit more wave clear, which should help these Fang kind of deal with this a little bit earlier. But I think these steel balls here will not be able to hold the line very well. There's a lot of firepower here though. There's full 2 units of Fang. Not going to be enough to survive that tower fall. Oh, and these steel balls really needed to last. They're not going to make it there. This is going to be quite a bit of damage coming out onto Siberia. Well done here by Scey. Just going with the very aggressive early game headbutt. Now, if Siberia does pay attention to where these units moved up, a couple of units of Stormcallers could make a big difference there, as all of those units kind of bunched up in this area, or anything with high AoE damage, just to try and get rid of those crawlers a little bit quicker. Could even be something as simple as another couple of Mustang. Laser sights for Siberia, he has the cash to do it. Mass-produced Phoenix, though, would have been phenomenal here. I think Scey's thinking about it. Phoenix would do exceedingly well here. These Mustang will almost have range on everybody in the early game. What did Scey go with? It looks like the range, or the laser sights for these Mustang as well. Not a bad choice. Mustang deal exceedingly well against the majority of this army. In fact, I'd go so far as to say they'll do incredibly well. A couple of missiles here for Siberia, and he popped the Midnight Oil. This rapid resupply, that's expensive to do. Granted, without the support of these crawlers, these steel balls really don't stand much of a chance. But I don't know if that was really worthwhile. Man, that one steel ball got roasted, toasted pretty darn quick. Now these steel balls will have a poor time against Fang in general. However, they do have the support of quite a few Mustang in the background, and Mustang do a great job against the steel balls. Yeah, I'm surprised that Siberia went with that Midnight Oil so early. That's a very expensive thing to do, and it doesn't look like he's going to win this round, even with that extra $100 spent. And he might be able to pull it out. There's just too many Mustang here for Scey. Well done, Scey. And these guys have the laser sight as well, able to pick off enemy Mustang very quickly. It should be even though in money spent, just because Siberia. Oh no, Siberia is down quite a bit. Improved fire control systems, very important. Ooh, going on these level 2 Mustang for Scey. These guys are hitting for 132 damage. Do we have a level 1 Mustang to compare against? Yes, versus 33 damage. Wow, that is just such a huge boost. Not only do they double because of leveling, gives you extra stats on the most important stats, your attack and HP, but it also gives you just a huge amount of extra damage. Really well done here. And it looks like Siberia is relying quite a bit on these missiles. I think that might be a little preemptive. Giving all of his Mustang range is very important. It means he'll start shooting a little bit faster. The next one, of course, is going to be this armor-piercing damage. The Mustang need to be shooting hard enough that they can actually take out these crawlers before the crawlers get into range of them. Let's see if that happens. Great placement here of the missile. Yes, does take out those super important level 2 Mustangs with the laser sights. Without those laser sights, things are looking pretty good here for Siberia. Basically the opposite. And remember, Siberia had a lot less cash. This tower drop could really hurt him, though. 2 steel balls left and that super powerful Mustang might be the difference. Oh, quick sip of delicious free Starbucks. I don't really normally... Oh, there was 1 steel ball that made it through. Oh wow, Hero Steel Ball earned himself a level. Good for him. Unfortunately, it means that these units are going to get some extra XP for killing the tower. Probably go to these Mustang because they just deal so much damage. Yeah, it did. It didn't quite hurt them the level though. Good for this little guy. He might get nothing. He might get nothing. Honestly, I think that Scey, instead of giving his Mustangs range, could actually go with the damage increase first, just to make his hit really hard. There's the senior attack specialist for both players. Scey does not have the increased damage. Interesting. He actually still has the missile interceptor. This is a fairly old build for Mustangs. This used to be my go-to build for Mustangs, but I swapped out the missile interceptor for the armor-piercing damage. Oh wow, both players still have missile interceptor. Granted, the missile interceptor deployable, interesting that they share the same name, did have a significant nerf. It doesn't shoot down missiles quite as well as it used to. It was a little bit too oppressive in the fact it just made Stormcallers basically useless. Oh, I love this play. Hackers on the flanks. Start coordinating some different attacks. Very well done. Scey definitely has this game in hand, though, when it comes to just dominating the field. And right now, Siberia is wasting a lot of cash on units that don't, or missiles that aren't really super helpful. Great missile in the back, though, should clean up all of those crawlers. Nope, not quite. Here comes some extra units, though, from this hacker. Very nice to have. Down goes the tower, though, and that's going to probably spell defeat here for our little Siberian. And this hacker's doing a great job, though. Converted a lot of things. Did it earn a level? It did. That's pretty important, actually. Now these Arklights are going to have a significantly more difficult time spawning in. Of course, if the Arklights are supported with crawlers in the front, the hackers drop off drastically. They could grab the multiple control, which is not a bad choice for hackers, but this is pretty rough. This is pretty rough. Siberia's working on building himself the box. It's just going to take a lot more time. Nano repair kit here for Siberia. Orbital Javelin. Wow, that's an expensive thing to grab here for Scey. Did he sniff out the Vulcan early? Will he be able to blind place the Orbital Javelin onto the Vulcan? That would be pretty darn impressive. That would be very, very impressive. So what's happening here also is that it looks like... wow, Siberia burning the oil again. Just always working from behind on cash. What's happening is that a lot of Scey's units are level 2, and there's a couple one that's level 3. And that's really, really hurting Siberia quite a bit, because all of his units are pretty much level 1, minus this hacker, probably the unit that needed it the least. Maybe these Mustang or these Mustang would have been more important to upgrade here, because the hacker isn't really going to deal very much damage. It works as a great distraction. It slows down incoming assaults, but as Scey just continues to upgrade these units slowly over time, their DPS is so much greater. 237 damage here for these level 3 Mustang. Their counterparts only have 75 damage. These Mustang that have the tech upgrades, or sorry, yeah, they have a tech upgrade, but they don't have a level upgrade. That would really make the difference, just because they'd be shooting further away and dealing more damage at that point. Little tip, we're getting into the point in the game where you want your units to have some good upgrades. Huge amount of missiles here, just an obscene amount, really not worth it there. Vulcan doing a great job actually tearing through a lot of these units. We do see this hacker grabbing some more enemy Arklights, very well done. On the left, the tower drops exceedingly quickly because these Mustang have the have the laser sights, and it's a big breakthrough on the center. The flanks recovered somewhat better, and this level 2 hacker did get himself quite a bit of XP. If we could see some more hackers come down with shields, that could help quite a bit, just because it would delay the steel balls. Steel balls have a really short range, so they'll stop to shoot at the shield. Of course, the shield will die very quickly, but hey, the shield dies, but then the steel balls have to move in again, and that can make a big difference here. Now this Vulcan is way out front. He needs some support. as we saw before, it will just get melted. We could see the hacker with barrier purchased and another... Oh, well, maybe not anymore. I hope to see... Oh, there's the hacker. Yes, okay, good placement. So if this hacker gets shields next turn, and then another one is placed, this will at least give the Vulcan a little bit of shielding. Now, Scey, being the pro player that he is, instantly understood what I was talking about earlier, and that the steel balls don't work very well against shielding because their range is so short. Grabbing that increased range is huge. They'll basically be kissing the shield at the start of the round, which will just... this poor Vulcan. The Vulcan is going to die even with this nano repair kit. Would have been much better placed on this one here on the left because there's less steel balls, and importantly, these extremely powerful Mustang aren't right up against it. These Mustang would do significantly less damage at 27 damage. All that needs to die are these steel balls, and this shield would hold up for a very long time. Little misplay there, but that's okay. Going with the shielding instead of missiles worked out slightly better. We still have this level 2 hacker in the background. This Vulcan has done exceedingly well. That shield really did help, and the increased range helped quite a bit too. Man, this is where the hacker starts to show off. It just keeps targeting units. Oh, the tower's gonna drop. Ouch. But it did delay that flank for quite a while. If there was some missiles, some Stormcallers, or some other mass AoE damaging thing in the center line there, it really could have done a lot of damage and taken out most of those Mustangs. This looks a lot better. Yes, Scey is going to win this, but at least Siberia didn't lose by a huge amount. He's going to lose by, I don't know, maybe 200 damage? Yeah, just about. A little bit over 200, 300-ish. Not bad. Not bad at all. He just needs to keep making the box. Lightning Storm or Ion could be the end of it, though. Scey grabs the Ion as well. No, you have shields. So this is something that, yes, these shields are more powerful. They're 40,000. But players really underestimate how good shields are on units that can deploy with shields every single turn. So of course the Fortress shields are considerably more powerful than hacker shields, but if you get the hacker shields early, you just have constant shielding throughout the game, and as your hackers level, this would be 60,000 extra HP. It's very, very powerful. I'd highly recommend, if you're going to play hackers, get the shields on them as soon as possible. Ooh, there's our Wraith. Alright, first time seeing this in the tournament, because we did miss that round one. Where is it going to go? It needs to be pretty careful, but the anti-air on the field is very poor. The reason I say that is the Mustang have the explosive rounds, which does lower their overall damage considerably. Here it comes. Ion comes out, decimates the hackers. Oh, good play here on the Ion here for Siberia, able to take out a lot of those very important hard-hitting Mustangs. If most of the Mustangs fall, then it's going to come down to the Wraith. But the Wraith is already dead. Man, look at that death animation. So cool as it just drops to the floor. Absolute domination here by Scey, and that's why Scey has won so many tournaments. He was the runner-up for the European tournament. Good for him. Well done, well played. Let's just take a quick look at the battlefield. And this is really what it came down to, is the Mustang on Scey's field all had upgrades. So pound for pound, Mustang hitting harder. Good use of defensive crawlers. These crawlers weren't really meant to do anything. They were just meant to die so that Scey's Mustang can get online. Notice that he built them as anti-Mustang, just going with that high explosive ammo. Does help them get rid of all the chaff units. He didn't really need anything else to survive because he knew that his steel balls were doing more than enough damage. I really liked Siberia's switch over to the Wraith. But this is what happens when you go a little bit too much into too many different types of units without buckling down on the tech upgrades on the units. The box could have been built. It just would have taken another 2 or 3 turns, and Scey did not allow that to happen. GG. See you in the next round. Coming into round 3, we have Nsako versus Arknights. Nsako, been on the channel many times. Arknights, again, probably a new person. I'm not familiar with them. Marksman Specialist with Marksman Mustang. Now, this used to be one of the most powerful openings, minus the Marksman Specialist. But Marksman Mustang used to be just incredibly strong. Not as much now. Both have seen some pretty major nerfs and just haven't really been featured in the meta as much, at least not as such a dominating force. But you'll still find them kind of mixed in, a nice spattering of each. Cost Control Specialist coming in here for Nsako. Looks like it's going to be some Crawlers and Stormcallers. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Now, the fast-moving Mustang should be able to deal with these Crawlers a little bit easier just because those Crawlers are wounded from the Cost Control Specialist, coming in with 13% less HP and attack. That is actually significant because Mustang normally takes several shots in order to kill off a Crawler. Having them be just slightly weaker is actually quite good for the Mustang. A couple of Crawlers here for Arknights as well. I think that's the right decision, as he just needs to hold these hold these Crawlers away. That way the Stormcallers don't bombard his units. Probably a great decision. Nsako still has $300, and I kind of gave away my thought process. I think some Arklights are actually useful here. Not in the initial engagement, as these marksmen will be able to take care of the Arklights very simply. However, the Arklight Crawler combo on the flanks can hold things off for a very long time, and the full Arklight build tends to do quite well against Marksman Mustang. Instead, we just see a whole bunch more Crawlers. I think that's a wise decision. I would have liked to see Nsako spend those $100 maybe on something like some medium units, like some tanks, just to try and hold things up a little bit. Great barrage by those Stormcallers, actually killing off some Mustang. And here come the rest of the Crawlers. A great decision here by Nsako, just because these Crawlers are going to take a long time to die. And once they actually start getting in on these Mustang, the Stormcallers will outrange the Marksmen. So as long as the Crawlers survive long enough, ooh, it doesn't look like they quite survived long enough to make that work. And really, that came down to the Cost Control Specialist. Now that the Snipers are here to work on the Stormcallers, there isn't really much of a chance. The Mustang are all pretty much dead, but a few will survive. Nsako takes some damage. It's alright though. Coming in as the Cost Control Specialist means that you have an extra 100 to work with every single round. Very, very important. Let's see. Nano Repair Kit's great, but probably not the best. Maybe picking up that Senior Manufacturing Specialist would be worthwhile for Nsako. Over time, the Giants would just be slightly cheaper. That extra saving of $100 from the early round is good as well. Wow, Nsako skips. Didn't really like any of it. More Crawlers here for Arknights, and this is where those Arklights can be good. Oh, instead he goes with the Sledgehammers. Not a bad choice. Saving $200 as well. Could be spent to kind of make his units slightly better than they normally would be. This defense improvement pushes you a little bit higher on the HP, but you'll always have slightly less attack. Hard choice. These tanks are great though. They'll be a little bit more wave clear. That way he doesn't have to rely on the Stormcallers as much. There's nothing here that really shoots fast for Nsako, and that could hurt him, as one Crawler surviving on 1 HP might get shot by several tanks at once, and the tanks have a very long reload speed. That money could also be saved to actually save up to make the tanks significantly better. Once the tank build comes online, they really come online. Arknights has a great chance though, or maybe it's Arknights. So yeah, it is Arknights. I don't know what I was saying before. I think I was saying Arknights. But he has a great opportunity in that there's nothing that shoots up here. So if Arknights is able to dominate the field for a couple more rounds before something like Mustang or any of those other units come out, they could very simply just pick up a unit of Wasps and just guarantee the win. As the only real reason that I would go with Phoenixes are to take out the tanks, but there's already enough marksmen on the field that it's not really necessary. Tanks are holding strong. It looks like the Crawler's even able to survive a little bit longer than last time due to that tank support. Wow, and some decimating Stormcaller shots really matter there. Now the Stormcallers can come online against the marksmen and most likely be able to take them out before all the tanks drop. Wow! Those tanks made a huge difference. Able to clear off so many of those Crawlers and also get rid of the Mustang in a pretty quick way. Ah, free Starbucks slurp. I hope somebody likes ASMR. Now, I like charged ammo quite a bit, but this speed specialist might be more important here for both players. Extended Vulcan range is pretty good. In fact, the Vulcan could be very good here for Arknights with the reduced cost of giants. Now, instead opting for the speed specialist, it looks like Sako also went with speed, and he's got the bumper cars now for the sledgehammers. That's pretty huge. I love that. So now our sledgehammers are moving at speed 14. That is very quick. Very, very quick. The crawlers are only moving at speed 19. Also grabbing that HP increase for the sledgehammers is very important. This means that the Mustang with their new high explosive ammo will just basically not be able to deal with the sledgehammers. The sledgehammers are also now shooting significantly faster due to that Mecho Rage. I love Mechanical Rage. Such a great upgrade. Something that I hope Sako does realize is that the tanks here did get shot down. Oh, by some Phoenix. Oh, double Phoenix. Well played here by Arknights, realizing, hey, you know what? If you're not going to pick up any air, I will. Well played, well played. He definitely loses the ground war in a huge way, but now Sako has to think about ways to deal with the Phoenix. Can the Phoenix jump? No, they do not have the jump drive. There is enough time in the round for them to kill everything, probably. That's still a lot of crawlers left over. But really well played here by Arknights. A lightning round, too. I didn't even pick up on those two Phoenix on the flanks, just because I was too interested in those tanks zipping around. As I was mentioning earlier, those tanks were coming ahead of the crawlers just a little bit too early, and that did cost him several tanks, so he needs to be thinking about that. Mass-produced sledgehammers here for Arknights. Interesting choice, as he doesn't have any. We see the senior manufacturing specialist for... or junior manufacturing specialist, excuse me, for Sako. Well played. I think that grabbing some Mustang is very important. You could even grab 3 of them. All of these units cost significantly less now. I wouldn't mind him grabbing 3, honestly, just because they do add quite a bit of extra DPS to his line. That way, he doesn't have to worry about things like the tanks too much. These Stormcallers will work somewhat as sniper units. They do have enough damage that they can start chewing into these sledgehammers, but they're not great at it. They're not bad, don't get me wrong, but they're not great at it. So having something that could deal with that is going to be important. Maybe some Phoenixes of his own, or just heavily upgrade these tanks to the point at which they're your anti-tank weapons. It's risk. It's a big risk. I think upgrading the tanks is a good idea here. No, instead we go with that third Stormcaller, or third Mustang we were talking about earlier. Definitely a good choice, just adding a little DPS to the line. Arknights spent a lot of cash, but it was really just spent on tanks. And these tanks are significantly worse than Sako's. Question is, does it matter? They're just here to hold the line, and I think they'll hold the line admirably. Mustang do great in the background. Stormcaller shots do just slam down on those tanks and take out quite a few of them. Here comes the rest of the Mustang. Will them coming in on the line later matter? Possibly. Having those 3 extra units is very powerful. Yeah, and they're able to come in here and start cleaning up these enemy Mustang very quickly. Not only that, they work very well against Mustang, or against Marksman. Mustang worked well against Marksman. Sorry for all the misspeak this morning. I am just hopped up on coffee and Veterans Day. Hooah! Great comeback here by Sako. Lost that small round to the Phoenixes. Those Phoenixes need to boogie out of here. Ooh, Sako picking up the parasitic ammo versus the barrier for Arknights. And range on the Mustang. That is huge. Even giving the ammo here to a background Mustang. Interesting choice. I may have been tempted to give it to some of these tanks, but no. Now, the Vulcan is not set up to be a giant killer. So what you can do is grab the Scorching Flames and the extra skill that allows your Vulcan to deal 6% damage over time. It does look like these Phoenixes are being recycled. Great choice here. Arknights is going to have a pretty solid advantage with these Vulcan. Look at them just burning away all of these units. Now the snipers can get online onto the tanks immediately. These very important Mustang that have the parasitic ammo died without spawning in any crawlers. Wow, it's like day and night. Look at these units just pushing forward. This is going to be a huge amount of damage coming out onto Nsako. Wow, these little guys did nothing. They got 2 kills. That may have been from the previous round as well. That is awful. Like, barely any crawlers were spawned, and that's $400 down the tubes. That's a huge amount of damage coming out on Nsako. Oh my gosh, over 1,000 damage. More Stormcallers? A lot more Stormcallers, but all of these crawlers' lives are forfeit. Ooh. Yeah, Amp Core coming out here for Arknights, and he recycles the Phoenix. Honestly, placing those Phoenix back here would not be a bad choice. Or just really building up your snipers. Sniper Vulcan is an incredibly powerful combo build that we've seen many times before in the past. Out comes some melting points and the very important shields. Melting points will help quite a bit against the majority of the field, especially if they get this electromagnetic barrage. I love the electromagnetic barrage. It's very, very powerful. Even the energy diffraction can be good once your melting points get a couple of levels. Very good boxing built here by both players. That way the shield covers a lot, but this orbital bombardment could do a lot of damage here. I wouldn't be surprised if Nsako holds on to this $100. Having an extra 100 does make a big difference. Might be worth recycling these Mustang though. No, instead going with the tank upgrade. Yeah, these tanks could use a couple of upgrades. It will really help them with the damage dealing. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Mustang get recycled and that be placed back onto a melting point. Because if a melting point kills a Vulcan, that spawns a whole heck of a lot of crawlers. More tanks, more Mustang coming out here for Arknights. A great decision. Just overwhelm the single point damage of the melting point. Just so that way the melting point never comes online against your Vulcan. Fire comes out, detonates 90% of the time against the shields, but even just that little barrier fire is incredibly important. A couple of crawlers are being spawned here by these background Mustang, and actually it's dealing quite a bit. Able to delay a lot of those units. The right looks very powerful, partly due to the orbital bombardment, but also partly due to the these Mustangs spawning in parasites. They need to get a level though. They probably will. If they kill this level 3 marksman, it depends on who gets the kill. They do. Very important. Huge amount of damage coming back. Oh wow, Arknights is just dead. GG, let's view the battlefield. So, this orbital bombardment did quite a bit of work there. The melting point was able to get online against the Vulcan early, and honestly, these shields did some good damage. There was another shield here and another shield here. But the Vulcan fire was still able to take out a lot of units in front of these melting points. That's why I really like this fire, but remember it is a double-edged sword. If the Mustang did have range, then they wouldn't have to drive into the fire, but many times I've seen the Vulcan spray out the incendiary bombs and kill their own units, so just be aware of that in the future. No flanking units left. Well played by both players. We'll see you in the next round. On to the next round. We have Flix versus a player who's going to end up being our blue player, because for whatever reason, they always flip-flop. I'm not sure why that happens. It just does. Very interesting cost control specialist, and a pretty darn good quick supply specialist. So as long as the enemy doesn't pick up air, if you go quick supply specialist and play out an extra 2 tanks, that's like the end of it. The enemy can't really do anything against it. All right, so our blue player did opt for a couple of Phoenix. A great pickup here, as the Phoenix can literally kill everything on the field without getting any damage back on themselves. But most importantly, there's no chaff here for Flix. Flix is in a tough spot. He's got great wave clear, so he doesn't really need to worry about these crawlers. But he will have to worry about the Phoenix. I guess some Mustang might be in order to take out these Phoenix. Maybe he could go with 2 units of Fang. He does opt for the 2 units of Fang. There really isn't anything to threaten the Fang too much, but the Fang are just so fragile and they have such low range. He's gonna need them to take out these Phoenix. He might just say, you know what, I'm gonna lose 1 round. I wouldn't be surprised if... Oh, our blue player does also opt for Fang. I was gonna say, I wouldn't be surprised if our blue player went with just a bunch more crawlers in the hope of overwhelming these Fang. It wouldn't be a terrible choice. Good play here by Flix, though, actually hiding the Fang. Most players would have put the Fang out front, even though they're only anti-air. Just saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice the first round. It is what it is, but in this case, it looks like Flix is trying to win every single round. Maybe holding on to that $100. I'm not opposed to spending the 100 early and getting that attack increase, or even the health increase, just because the opponents don't normally realize that's going to happen. It looks like our blue player also held on to some cash, maybe looking to unlock an early giant. That could be a little spicy. Or go with the new Wraith. So this is very well played here by Flix. He actually had the tanks positioned in such a way that they absorbed several shots early. On this side, the Fang should be able to take care of the Phoenix without much of an issue, but is this enough Fang to take care of Phoenix? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it takes 10 Fang to kill a unit of Phoenix, especially if they're weakened from the cost control specialist. But these little guys should be enough to take care of the enemy Phoenix on this flank. Possibly. It depends on the engagement angle as well. If these Phoenix come back for these little Fang, it shouldn't be enough. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This Phoenix already lost about 2/3 of its HP. It's going to be rough. I think the Phoenix will take it though, just because the Fang will get distracted shooting this tower. Well played though. Well played indeed. It's hard to open up against Phoenix when you don't have Mustang on the field already, and that may have been why Flix saved the $100, just to spawn out a whole bunch of Mustang. The Mustang would be incredibly useful against everything on the field here as well. Man, these poor Phoenix though. Imagine being a pilot and you're judged with just shooting down little guys with pistols. That'd feel pretty awkward. Like massive overkill. Oh wow, Flix, very quick pickup on the laser sight. What will our blue player pick? Charged ammo is very, very good. I do really enjoy the charged ammo. The Rhino falls off a little too quickly though. I see why Flix grabbed this Mustang with the laser sight, and then with the armor penetrative rounds really do a lot of work. In fact, I normally opt to grab the armor penetrative rounds early if I do have the laser sight, and then I'll grab the range, just because that increase in damage is very, very important. Ooh, and another increase in damage here for Flix. Well done. These Mustangs should be the answer to all of his woes. Let's see what else our blue player plays out. He already played out an extra unit of Fang. Oh, and it's going to be another Phoenix. Alright, the Mustang have a lot of work to do, but they should be able to get it done without really any problems. Able to kill these Fang exceedingly quickly. Having a unit of crawlers in the front would be pretty useful here for Flix. Later in the game, not going to be able to afford it this early. Wow, those tanks all dropped so quickly. Here come the Mustang. Will there be enough chaff to support these Phoenix on the right? Definitely not. On the left, it's looking a little bit better, though. These Mustangs do have that laser sight, so they're able to get in a little bit more damage a little bit earlier. They should kill off all of these Fang, and then be able to take out these Phoenix. There's not very many of them, but there's definitely enough Mustang here on this flank. Well played. And although Mustang have seen a bit of a nerf... Oh, splitting the Mustang is very, very bad. Very, very bad. Actually, having those Phoenix turn doesn't really matter. Ooh, this is going to be rough. I think Flix is going to lose this, even though he had more than enough support. These Fang in the background might be able to get it done if this tower drops quick enough. There's going to be... It's not going to drop fast enough. And these little Phoenix are most likely going to be able to clear out all these Fang. Yeah, even with the tower dropped, they'll still one-shot everything. It's just for that extra damage done. Alright. A few more Mustang and he'd be in a good spot for Flix. Not a bad choice, or even just something that can guard those tanks. Improved firepower for Flix. He has the cash to afford these things. Our blue player skips and grabs some more crawlers. A good choice here. Flix is suffering from... Ooh. A Vulcan here by our blue player. Okay. I was going to say, Flix is suffering from not having enough chaff in the front line to absorb those Phoenix shots. But now that the Vulcan is out, it kind of doesn't matter. Well played, well played. I do like this. It did cost basically everything to play the Vulcan and then upgrade a Phoenix. Looks like Flix is going to opt to play an extra unit. He's got 2 units of crawlers, quite a few Mustang. Not a bad choice. Nothing that deals with a Vulcan, though. Vulcan has 38,000 HP. I gotta give it to our blue player again. Really understanding the game. that Vulcan's going to make a huge difference. And early game, the Vulcan actually does very well against the tanks. Look at it just burn through them. It's got really nice range on it too. 130 range due to that increased range from the light laser sights. Yeah, this left side's done though. There's nothing that can stop this. Level 2 Fang. That's kind of fun. If the Fang gets shields, they hold up against the Vulcan for like a split second more. It really doesn't make a difference though. And this little contingency force won't be able to clean this up. They might still get the tower though, which would give... Oh, they already have enough XP. Would give them a little bit of a fighting chance, but this Vulcan with the laser sights should be able to clear off everything before it even gets touched. Here they come, and there they burn. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Vulcan will even take a single point of damage. Well done. Well done by our blue player. Really just understanding the game. Some Stormcallers would work exceedingly well for either player. Man, Flix and our blue player taking these pigs very quickly. Looks like it is going to be a fortress here. Now the fortress will suffer against these Phoenix, and it's going to be the first thing that's shot at as well. If the fortress can get some anti-air barrages, that can take care of the Phoenix fairly well. We've been seeing that more and more. Range increase for the Mustang, another very, very important increase. Let's see how this goes. This Mustang, or this fortress, has a lot of work that it needs to do. These Mustang aren't going to enjoy their lives very much. With that attack increase, they can get through the Vulcan. It's not great. Oh my god. This fortress is already at like half HP. But it's holding the line long enough. It's not dead yet, and with all the chaff gone, this could work out a little bit better for these background Mustang. They're not going to enjoy it, but they might at least clean off the Phoenix. If they can clean off the Phoenix, that's less than, or about 400 damage that he could save. He's still going to take a huge amount of damage here for Flix. Both these Vulcan will easily be able to clean up these Mustang. But clearing away these 4 Phoenix does save him a 1 Giant's worth of HP. That's that. Let's see, 800, 900 damage. Oh no, it's 1,000 damage. Oof. That's a lot of HP to lose at one point in time. Flix is making good moves, but our blue player is just one step ahead of him. Extended Phoenix range could be good for the blue player. Mass melting point might be good for Flix, but I think instead he should just invest heavily into these fortresses. Grab another fortress, give it the anti-air barrage. That way at least they're going out and dealing some damage to this Phoenix. Yes, he did do it. 3 fortresses. Okay. That's enough anti-air. Now there just needs to be something to deal with the Vulcan, which the fortress is also the answer to the Vulcan. That's putting a lot of money in one pot. Let's see if our blue player can recognize that the fortress are the main threat. He does. Grabbing Ignite, this will absolutely cut through the fortress until the fortress gets shields and Robo Punch. There are good support here, support units for the fortress though. There's the first barrage, taking out a Phoenix. Taking out 3 Phoenix here on the right, though. That is very important. Alright, there is enough chaff to kind of delay this, and this Vulcan is still at full HP. Good barrage here by the fortress in the center. Takes out the remaining Phoenix. Okay. That's not bad. This guy's going to have a heyday just blowing away this Vulcan. It's got a lot of HP, though. And it should be able to cook down this fortress pretty darn quickly. Will a half-health fortress be able to take out this Vulcan? I highly doubt it. But this is actually quite a good move here for Flix. He's going to lose still. And by, well, I don't know. That Ignite will still work. Even though the fortress is wounded. Or sorry, the Vulcan is wounded from the tower drop. The Ignite still works. It's going to be really close. Not quite. Flix making a big comeback here. If he grabs the Robo Punch, that might be the answer that he needs in order to deal enough damage back to these Vulcan. Ooh, Heavy Mustang is really, really good. They'll still die to the fire too quickly, so definitely not worth picking up here, but it is generally a very good card. The Ion Blast could be more useful, or the Junior Manufacturing Specialist. We will have to see. Question for Flix is really, does he grab the shields, or does he grab the Robo Punch? Ion Blast for Flix could go, yeah, right across this flank here, killing basically everything. 1 upgrade. He could grab attack and another fortress. Well, not anymore. Instead, opting to upgrade his background units. Not a bad choice. There's the first melting point for our blue player. 2 melting points for our blue player. With range, should have no problem catching these extremely forward-facing fortresses. In fact, yeah, it looks like that's the first thing they're going after. These tanks don't live very long. Ooh. Wasps. Okay. Where are these wasps going? The flanks? Yeah, they are. That should pull away one of these phoenix. Not really super important. But if the wasps survive, they'll do well. Man, these fortresses are basically dead, though. This movement here on the wasps will mean that they'll kill both the towers. They might get distracted by the melting point for a moment, but if they're quick enough... Wow, they won't be quick enough this round. Can the wasps jump? Yes, they do have the jump drive. So they can come back and actually guard these fortresses. That's a lot of damage wasted. We'll have to see how this Ion Blast works. Oh, this fortress is super dead very, very quickly. The Ion Blast does do a ton of damage here. It will not get this melting point, but it might get the melting point low enough. Yeah, it does. Well done. Alright, the fortress in the center was good enough to take out the remaining phoenix. Here comes the tower drop. Well played by those wasps. This level 2 fortress has to do a lot of work, though. If it can bring down this Vulcan, then the melting point is definitely going to die as well. And there's just too many things shooting at this little melting point. Well played here by Flix, recognizing that a flanking tactic may be the way forward. That's his first win in this entire game at round 6, but he's been holding on. Will it be enough to turn the tide? Ooh, extended Vulcan range is really good. Skill Specialist is quite strong. Heavy armor for Flix, most likely going on this fortress here in the center, as there isn't a melting point just directly fighting it right now. Wow, both these wasps can get level 2. Jump drive these wasps and give them range, and suddenly they're much more dangerous. Or just give them range now, or even shields, heck. The shields would prevent a ton of this damage. It depends on how much he's willing to invest into it. 3 units coming out here for Flix. Let's see if... Yeah, I was going to say, let's see if some Fang show up to deal with this. Fang on the flanks. Now, that's not exactly what you would expect to see to deal with just some wasps, so a lot of very important units spent. Looks like it's going to be Stormcallers, level 2 Stormcallers here for Flix, 3 of them. That should help a lot against these slow-moving giants. Will we see this fortress get an upgrade? Probably not. It's basically dead. Once the shields come out on the fortresses, though, that's a lot of extra HP. Won't matter too much against the melting point, but it does actually negate a lot of this Vulcan damage. Now the Vulcans are actually shooting pretty hard, though. Jump drive is used. Very important, as it will draw away a lot of the fire from these melting points. That's very, very, very important. Because if the fortresses can live for even 30 seconds longer, that's a lot more missiles that can go out and kill off these leveled up phoenixes. Looks like one of the phoenixes was actually recycled. Interesting choice, and not a bad choice either. Man, this poor fortress, it doesn't even stand a chance. Barely able to do anything. It looks like this guy got 1 phoenix kill and a little bit of damage. Basically nothing. Here come all of the Stormcaller shots, though, and they're looking pretty darn good. I'm honest with you, those are looking like some good Stormcaller shots. These level 3 Mustang able to clean up all those Fang without an issue. Another barrage from the Stormcallers does basically nothing. Now they'll start killing giants, but the exceedingly long range of these units is going to really hurt Flix. Does Flix die here? Oh, it's very close. Oh, it's very, very close. Alright, Stormcallers definitely need range if they're going to be used. Intensive training by our blue player. Ooh, could bring this Vulcan up to level 5. I think that's a little bit excessive. What did Flix end up with? The intensive training as well. Shields would be pseudo-useful here. The Robo-Punch, a little bit more. We do have the Orbital Javelin from Flix. It won't be enough to kill this Vulcan, but it will be enough to kill the melting point in the center. So right now, Flix has committed very heavily to 1 unit, which are these Vulcan. And the Vulcan are dealing with everything on the field. Looks like we have shields on the Wasps. Good, because the Vulcan don't really do well against Wasps. These melting points will over time, but I think having a bunch of Wasps here is a good idea. Also, maybe the mobile artillery platform. We haven't really seen the Wraith feature heavily in this tournament yet. but the Wraith can do quite well. Looks like it's going to be 3 units of Wasps on one flank. Another unit here sitting in reserve. They could be used at the front just to kind of take care of some of these crawlers that are drawing a lot of fire. Looks like that is going to be the choice. Extra unit being deployed here. It's going to be another unit of Wasps just as protection. Not a bad idea. This fortress, though, is dying way too quickly. There needs to be something to reduce that. Honestly, this armor enhancement does help quite a bit, but the increase in HP is kind of negated by the burning of the Vulcan. It's surprising how good Vulcan are as anti-giant units. That shield is really going to help for a moment. Look at it just get burned down, though. Man, Vulcans have such great DPS. Here come all the Wasps. Let's see if it's enough. These Wasps are able to circulate for a moment. The extra shielding is helping very slightly. And this should be it. Once these Wasps make contact with the tower, everything should decrease. These little Wasps, if they're able to kill the Vulcan, will earn themselves a huge level. Here come the rest of the Stormcaller shots. There's nothing shooting down the Stormcaller shots yet. Man, the melting points are earning themselves so much XP by killing these fortresses, but they're not getting leveled up. If these melting points did have the levels, they wouldn't really have to worry about Wasp attacks, but this is it. Well played here by Flix. It's not going to be enough to bring our blue player down. Kind of a desperation attempt, really, but it does lead just a little bit more life into Flix. Having just that breath of life. Like Alex Straza from World of Warcraft, if anybody played WoW. I'm sure we have some WoW players. Flix going with the haste module very quickly. You know what? Some mass-produced overlords, even just some overlords in general, wouldn't be terrible. There's enough Wasps on the field already. Having something that hits a little bit harder wouldn't be a bad choice. And as these Wasps continue to level, if they grab range or the ground specialization, they do a lot of damage. They can be protected for a moment at the very least by some of these units. Instead, we see increased range on the Stormcallers. Not a bad choice by Flix. Looks like it's going to be several more melting points and a lot of missiles here. Wow, double melting point. Not a bad choice because although the Wasps do deal with melting points somewhat, they don't really deal with enough damage to kill the melting points very quickly. Wow, we're just going straight into melting points. Not a bad choice. This is going to be a ton of crawlers, and there really isn't a lot to deal with crawlers. These level 3 Mustangs will cut through them very quickly, but the Mustang are always at risk of these Vulcan. Big increase on the fortresses. Will we see a rocket punch? No. Instead, the electromagnetic shot. Okay. I like this. The electromagnetic shot, if it makes contact with these Vulcan, could seriously decrease their DPS. May even give this fortress enough time to live. Let's see if Flix can survive this round. Here comes the fire and the flames. Should be very, very quick to kill off all these units. Wasp doing a good job, though. Killing off a ton of these little Fang. Taking a lot of damage, though, as these crawlers continue to spawn out. The Wasps are getting distracted. Well, I mean, I guess they're forced to shoot at them. Our one hero fortress in the center holding the line. Out come these Stormcaller shots, but they're really just not doing a whole lot, as a lot of these crawlers are being spawned by these melting points. Here comes the next wave. Are there enough Mustang to deal with them? I don't think so. And if the crawlers make it into contact with the Stormcallers, it's all over. It's all over here for Flix. There's no way that he can survive this. Man, this level 3 Vulcan able to survive a full salvo. Bam, 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 bam. Look how much HP this guy has. It is surprising how well this works. One of the things that I would recommend for the melting points, I do love the energy absorption, but sometimes I'll switch that out for energy refraction, the thing that allows them to shoot multiple units, if I'm going for this style of build. So Vulcan melting point works exceedingly well, especially if you can get your Vulcan this high. Because you always have continuous chaff and you always have a great chaff killer. The reason I would go with energy diffraction is just in case of flying units, like we did see these just huge amount of Wasps, but they were distracted and killed off by really some unleveled Fang. That was pretty much the only anti-air here besides these melting points, but even with this many Wasp, it just didn't work out. Well played. We'll see you in the next round. Potentially our semifinals. We again have an odd number of players. We have Lordkleinkariert. I think it's meant to be Lokir Fellheart, but kind of ran out ran out of things. We'll have to see. I know Fellheart is an actual player within the game that I've cast several times, so kind of an interesting name there. I'll just refer to them as Lord versus our soon-to-be red player, Rhino Specialist. The Rhino Specialist has been nerfed. Oh, it's Rick. Good for him. This is going to be pretty tough here for Lord, at least spawning into the game. Having early Stormcallers can be exceedingly powerful. Good choice here. A mixture of Crawlers and Fang. Interesting. I wonder if the Fang was a misclick, because the Fang will die. There's really no reason to have Fang here, unless we're eventually going to see... Wow! The Fang taking the spot of the Mustang as well. Normally you'll see Mustang placed right behind these steel balls because they travel at nearly the same speed or the exact same speed depending on your upgrade path. This is an interesting one. Very big headbutt here for Lord. Our red player may be able to take the tower just because the Stormcallers... Oh no, they're going to get distracted. I was going to say, if the Stormcallers didn't get distracted, they're not exactly very quick, but it only takes 1 or 2 barrages by a Stormcaller to knock out the tower, depending on the number of Stormcallers. So let's say these 3 get distracted, but this one just trundles up the field. It could take out that tower. We'll have to see. Steel balls are going to be able to tear through this army fairly well. They will get distracted by Fang and by Stormcallers. It would actually be much more useful if these were Mustang. Now, the Stormcallers can earn themselves a very quick level by taking out this level 3 marksman, and that's very dangerous. If they do so, then all of a sudden there's just nothing that can really stop them. And these steel balls are all getting distracted by the little amount of crawlers here. There is enough Fang to kind of deal with this, but I don't think this is going to work out. No, huge collapse here. If the Stormcallers get one shot into these background Fang, that's all of the damage basically gone. The steel balls break through. They are outside of range of the Stormcallers slightly, depending on the way that they lean, but this is not looking great. It will take a tower drop here to bring this back into range. Tower does drop. This marksman's got to shoot like 100 these. Those steel balls go. Oh, they get distracted by the Fang. That's going to be that. There's nothing here that can stop this. Well played by our red player, actually just having enough really importantly placed crawlers in the background to kind of delay it by a second wave of crawlers coming in. Very, very good choice. We'll have to see if Lord goes with some arknights or something to deal with the amount of chaff on the field. Ooh, actually going with the laser sights over the missile strike. The missile strike could be exceedingly powerful. Missile strike placed right here could take out potentially 2.5 to 3 units. Instead, it's going to be more crawlers here. And an extra steel ball. Okay. Interesting choice. There's nothing really that benefits much from the laser sights. Laser sights for a red player as well. Laser sights on either Mustang or Stormcallers is incredibly powerful. Looks like it's going to be on these Mustang. Where did the laser sights go here? On these background Fang. Are we going to see a Fang build? Yeah, here's another unit of Fang. Nothing to protect the flanks here. If our red player wants an easy win, all he needs to do is place a unit of crawlers in the back line. That would be that. I think that Lord is going to go with a mass Fang build. This is the general build for very aggressive Fang. Sometimes you'll see the armor piercing switched out for an ignite just so that they can take out giants. Not really the best use for the Fang. I prefer the armor piercing rounds just because they can deal with medium and small sized units much quicker, and then you pair them with fortresses which deal with giant units fairly well. I mean, it's not perfect, but fairly well. That is going to be a missile here for our red player. I don't know why the camera spazzed out like that when I was trying to see. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to say that anymore, but such is life. Go Mustang, go! Blammo! All of those melting points are dead. Or sorry, melting points, steel balls. They're mini melting points. Fast melting points. Oh wow, and the Stormcallers were recycled here by our red player. That's actually going to cost him this flank. Those Stormcallers would have at least allowed a little bit more range. These Fang in the background are earning themselves a ton of kills though, already at 45 kills. That's very important. The Stormcaller shots will still easily be able to kill everything, but man, if these Fang make it to level 2 early, that's actually very powerful. You'd be surprised how quickly Fang can, if the Fang start to level, it scales very, very fast. Where all of a sudden the Fang are at like level 5. The difference between level 1 and level 5 Fang, of course, is night and day, but the time it takes to get between level 1 and level 5 is oddly fast. If they can get past level 1, they get to level 5 very, very quickly. Of course, the levels go past level 5, but in my experience, that level 2 upgrade is the most important thing for the Fang. Of course, the doubling is very powerful. Oh, they did get to level 2. I'd love to see those Fang built up. Looks like it is going to be the tech spec. Oh, I think we're going to see a Fang build. Alright, tech spec is a big part of the Fang build. The next thing is the junior manufacturing specialist. If you can get these guys down to level 3, follow that up with, what is it called? The deployment specialist, then you can be pumping out a lot of level 2 Fang very cheaply with just an insane amount of upgrades. You're saving, what is it, 200 bucks overall with the upgrades, and then you play out some fortresses with some more upgrades. Mainly the shield is most important, just to give your Fang that extra 40,000 HP at level 1 to just be shooting away at. Let's see if our red player recognizes this and goes with some more melting or Mustang. Mustang work out really well here. Unfortunately, the loss of these Stormcallers, not the best. Oh, there's the shield. That will help a whole bunch. But Stormcallers actually work fairly well against the Fang, especially with the Incendiary Bomb, because normally with the Fang build, you'll have a couple of chasers out front. This is your crawlers, and that will kind of lay out the fire for you. Falls off pretty quickly if the Fang are very closely placed at the front with enough fortress shields to support them. But we will have to see how this goes. The shield is back up. Out comes the missile, down goes all of those units. These Fang do, yeah, they outrange the Mustang. Man, that range increase is very important. Look at these guys go. Wow, huge missile clearing all of this off. It only takes one steel ball to get online on that shield, and the shield will drop fairly quickly. These Fang might even earn themselves a level on the flanks. Killing Mustang is very, very powerful. Oh, there's the one steel ball I was talking about, and look at that shield drop. Uncontested steel ball just earned itself 100 credits. That is powerful. Go, little Fang, go. Earn your money. Oh my gosh, this is insanity. These guys are almost... See, that's what I'm talking about. It took 2 rounds to get these guys to level 2, and in 1 round, they're up to level 3. It just spirals so quickly. Once these guys get to level 4, level 5, they're just little mean machines. Here's the Rhino. The Rhino with Amp Core could survive for quite a while. Loken also grabs the Amp Core. Are we going to see that placed on a unit of Fang or on these steel balls? It is on the steel balls, good. That is the right choice. There just needs to be enough HP. Our red player's thinking about it, does grab the Amp Core. And oil. Well done. Oil at the front. More steel balls. Is this the new, is this a new version of Steel Ball Mustang? Is now Steel Ball Fang? 3 more units of Fang. You really want to be getting an upgrade for the Fang every 1 or 2 rounds. It does make a huge difference as the Fang tend to drop off without those extra upgrades. The Mechanical Rage is a big one. Just having them plunk out shots a little bit quicker. I like this play by our red player, dropping the oil first. Next time, he'll have the ability to give his Stormcallers fire if he wishes to, or play out a Vulcan to set this whole area alight. This Rhino is actually going to do very well against these, oh, it does have the, this Rhino is going to do really well here. It would have done better on this flank because it would be able to take out those steel balls very quickly. Yes. Good play here by the red player. He doesn't know about it, but sometimes it's that little gamer sense that matters. And in this case, it matters quite a bit. This right flank with all of these leveled Fang, though, are going to be much more difficult to deal with. I like the increasing of the Mustang, too. The Mustang with range are going to deal with these Fang much, much easier. Another missile here. This missile is going to go off early to take out these Fang. Oh my gosh, all these units are pulled away. This tower could drop very, very quickly. That would spell doom. Man, these Fang moving so slowly, though. That's got to hurt. Oh my god, a whole unit's a crawler on the tower. That's that tower gone, and that means the right flank doesn't really hold much of a chance. Man, once these Fang get the Mechanical Rage too, they would have been able to chase that in much quicker. If enough steel balls survive, they should be able to take out this Rhino. It's looking pretty dicey though. At least 3 of them need to survive to take out a level 2 Rhino. And it looks like only 2, maybe 1 will. There has to be enough Fang support. And these Fang are actually dealing a good amount of damage. Whoever kills this Rhino is going to earn the level. There should still be 2 steel balls left. And it depends really on how these steel balls engage. Man, that's a lot of Fang. Oh my god, they almost killed the Rhino by themselves. Go, little steel balls, go. Give it little kisses. Yeah, it was these guys. Oh, good. It's the level 2 ones. That's what you want to see for our blue player. That will increase their level. Huge amount more HP just to protect the Fang. Top supply specialist for low tier. This is another very important part of the Fang build. Just because you want to have that extra HP or that extra cash, because these things cost a lot of money. Oh, he needs the mechanical rage. He really needs it if he's going to continue down the Fang build. No, instead just playing out more Fang. They will be able to guard the flanks. Fang in the background, it's starting. The madness is starting. Once this cage is built, whereas there's just Fang on Fang on Fang, it becomes madness. Will we see a fortress unlocked, or is he going to just stick with the steel balls? Steel balls don't have any upgrades yet. Strangely enough, the armor enhancement does help quite a bit just because it's a lot of extra HP, and it blocks a lot of shots from these Mustang. The Mustang are only doing 66 damage right now. With the armor enhancement, it blocks 60 damage per attack. So, oh, well played. We see our first, our second Wraith in the tournament. I like this quite a bit. The anti-air is not great. Let's take a look at the upgrades. We have Degenerative Beam, High Explosive, that's going to be great against the Fang. Floating Array, just to increase the number of cannons, I like that quite a bit. And the Range Enhancement. Range Enhancement is pretty much universally needed on the Wraith. The Wraith is like a weird pseudo-mothership, or really it's like Stormcallers in space with very low range, but at least it still operates similarly to a Stormcaller in which it gets to fire 4 different missiles. Out come these crawlers just to fight with the enemy crawlers here. That way that tower doesn't drop so quickly. Very important. Man, these little Fang, if they had the Mecha Rage, would be just tearing through this. All these crawlers, unfortunately, are slowed down, giving the Fang just a lot more time to shoot. Down goes the tower. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Down goes the Wraith. And now it's up to this Rhino with the huge amount of HP to just make it through, but I don't think it will. Once this tower drops, there should be enough Fang to kill it. Down it goes. Oh my god. That would be so much fun to be this Rhino, though. Well, I guess it would be terrifying if you were being killed by like 1,000 little paper clips, but just being a giant robot with electric fists charging down the pistol line would be super cool. We didn't see the incendiary bomb, and that's going to cost our red player quite a bit of HP. All right, Lokier is going to have a huge amount of cash. So does our red player. Junior manufacturing specialist. This is the next part of it. Now all these Fang cost 50 bucks. It means you can start playing them out at level 2. I'd like to see them all come out at level 2 with the mechanical rage upgrade. It can be done. Here's the hacker. Hacker shields are very important to defend against Fang. Also very important, or at least used to be important in the Fang build. There's the Mecha Rage. Yes, it's a couple turns late. I would have liked to have seen that around round 4, round 5. And it's going to be some Phoenix. Interesting choice here. There's the shields. These shields won't last very long, but they're in a fairly decent spot. More Fang. Always Fang. When in doubt, more Fang. Fang on Fang on Fang. They're not level 2. You can play out another unit. Yep, there's the 3rd unit of Fang. Jeez. Honestly, causing more trouble on the flanks, and he does agree with me, is the way to go. As these flanks just continue to build with units, it draws away the center. And by drawing away the center, you allow these Fang in the center to get the job done. And look at them go. Good Stormcaller shots here on the right. How many kills are these Stormcallers at? 200. That's a lot of dead Fang. Man, the hackers are doing a great job converting steel balls. And the Fang are going to have trouble dealing with those steel balls, at least initially. Once they get their, whatever it's called, armor-piercing damage, they will deal with it considerably easier. Left side, we do see the tower drop again. There isn't really anything to deal with these Phoenix either, besides a few of these Mustangs. They are level 2 with range. Wow, and they cut through it pretty darn quick. Now that the steel balls are gone, these hackers don't really have much of a chance converting a Fang. and just a swarm of Fang isn't going to cut it. Man, these guys are getting some kills though. Once again, we have the mass Fang march down the field. So an issue, the Fang build is extremely powerful, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't deal much damage. It always looks like you're dealing a lot of damage, but it really doesn't until you have the Fortress come out and support it. Senior attack specialist for Lord is extremely important, just meaning that these Fang deal 151 damage a shot. That is incredibly important. Level 4 steel balls, high explosive ammo finally coming out for the Mustang. Now that these steel balls are somewhat dealt with, very, very important. I'd like to see the Fortress for Lord if he can do it. If not, grab that armor-piercing damage. Instead, range on the steel balls. Interesting choice. And it is going to be a few more steel balls and and Fang. More Mustang and crawlers here for our red player. Not a bad choice. It's interesting that we saw some Phoenix, but they haven't really made much of an appearance. Going Mass Phoenix would be pretty strong with this build. Let's see. Beam ground units, range 120, affected enemy units move slowly, and their attack power is reduced by 30. Okay. I mean, it's a good support. I'd be surprised if the Wraith survives long enough to actually make that work, as its range is only 50 meters, and these guys are working at 120. But there is enough things just getting shot at that it could make a difference. Having these units just charge the tower, not a bad idea. They will get drawn up ever so slightly, and without the shields, a lot of these Fang are going to die to missiles. Oh, nope, they're all missiles for... Oh, no, they're not all missiles for Lord. I thought they were missiles for our red player, but not quite. Lots of hackers here actually making a difference as it turns all of these steel balls against the Fang. Are there enough Fang to make this work? I don't think so. These level 3 steel balls are going to take a really long time to die, and that's giving the Stormcallers and Crawlers more than enough time to get in here. The mass hackers, a great defense. Down goes the Wraith. The Wraith actually got several kills, and this is looking pretty good here for our red player. And that's the problem with the mass hacker build, is it just doesn't deal a lot of damage. Without that damage coming out, it's really not... you don't kill your opponent. Although Lord has won dozens of rounds, or not dozens, but several rounds in a row, it didn't really matter. Senior manufacturing coming out here for Lord. Is this where we're finally going to see the Fortress? It might be time. Oh, and down go the extremely important steel balls. Probably replaced by the Fortress with shields. I wouldn't be surprised. Fang continuing to upgrade. If we saw... Yeah, there's the Fortress. 2 Fortress. Are they going to grab shields first? 3 Fortress. I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, there it is. Very powerful for helping stop against the hacker aggression. I'd like to see this Fortress actually go on this flank. Having a flanking Fortress is pretty powerful. Yep, it's going over here on the right. Okay. The units are going to get increased speed here for Lord. Very important. This Fortress with the extra HP is going to be very powerful. So transitioning, you have a good Fang base. Now transitioning to Fortress Phoenix would be an extremely good choice here. Just play out 2 Fortresses and 2 Phoenixes a turn by using the elite recruitment. Or sorry, the mass recruitment is very, very powerful. If you can get the specialist, the deployment specialist, that would basically complete the build here for Lord. That's all the cards you want to see. And we haven't seen the deployment specialist yet. These steel balls are going to be in a rough spot. Alright, let's see if Fortress... Man, the shield is so powerful. It's going now, but man, did it help. Open bombardment, not really getting anything done here. But what's important about the Fortress is that it can kill off these steel balls once they're converted, which saves the Fang damage to actually deal with things that they need to do, like these Stormcallers and hackers. Oh no, that didn't work out very well, and it looks like these Wraiths are just making a huge name for themselves, decreasing a lot of damage. Oh my god, is Lord dead? The hacker aggression, all 3 hackers here survived on the right. This Fortress needs to die. It does not. That extra HP is huge. Lord, are you dead? Oh, it's very close. 200 left. Well played by our red player. Very, very well played. Orbital Javelin makes a huge difference here for Lord. Lightning Storm would be very good for our red player. Really, Javelin on the right. I was going to say you could Javelin all 3 of these units. There's the attack increase for the Fang. Again, a little slow. Roughly every 2 rounds you want to be spending increasing your Fang if you're going for the hacker build. 2 more Fortress with Shields though. Potentially 3 more Fortress with Shields. That's a lot of shielding. Midnight Oil was burned. That's a lot of extra shields. Are we going to see one on the flank? It would be worthwhile. Instead, they're all going down the front. Okay. Just to stop the other fortresses from being hacked. With this hacker going down, it's actually quite likely for these units to storm in. I'd like to see this mobile beacon placed right at the center. Wow. Well played. Very well played by our red player. Electromagnetic Barrage is great for getting rid of shields and also for neutering the Fang. I'm surprised that we didn't see it a little bit earlier. Ooh, this guy might just die though. He's a little too close to the front. I think this one's basically dead, but what's important is that the shield will drop. Alright, lots of missiles, lots of orbitals coming down for both players. Let's see how this goes. Kind of give you a big panoramic view. Steel balls die. Center left is gone. Melting point still alive. Looks like that fortress was distracted by the crawlers, and down it goes. The right is looking pretty strong here, though. These Phoenix are going to be able to make a little bit of a difference for themselves. A lot of fortresses are dying. We see a collapse on the left for our blue player. This fortress does take a lot. Oh, and down goes the tower. Is it going to be enough? I highly doubt it. These Fang are in a great position to take the other tower. They do. Down goes the melting point. This is looking like a win for Lord. This was his last hurrah, but he's going to earn himself another round. Really, these Fang having the extra damage really did help. Both players in the danger zone. It comes down to this. Oh my god, this might be the game of the tournament. Deployment spec for both players. Lord is like, bring me my legions. Just plays 5 units of Fang or whatever. 4 units of Fang would be the max he could play. That would be hilarious. It wouldn't work very well here. But actually having some Fang in front of this fortress would be great. Fang are being deployed now by the fortresses. That's a lot of extra Fang. Is it going to be just mass fortress? Yes, it is. 3 more fortress coming down. Huge upgrades on the Fang across the field. Remember, Fang are very cheap to upgrade, so it does help quite a bit. Honestly, these Phoenix are making a good name for themselves. Oh, excuse me. Making a good name for themselves. I'd like to see some fortresses on this left flank, but we're not going to see it. Instead, doubling up on the right. We're just going to try and win the right flank. It's not a bad choice here by Lord. He's still got 350 bucks. He could grab another mass recruitment and get another level 2 unit of Fang out. It's just going to be a level 1 unit of Fang. Play it in front of these guys. Make it so that these crawlers don't go underground. The crawlers get a lot of extra HP by going underground. Putting them up front actually does help quite a bit. 200 bucks left. Our red player's already played out. It's just a bunch of melting points. And it's not a bad idea. Granted, there'll be, what, 12? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's 12 times 9? If you know the answer, comment below. 12 times 10 is 120, so minus 12 is what? Just a little bit of confusion there for everybody. Out come the fortresses, man, and they get rid of these shields fast. And there's enough Fang here to really be distracting the melting points. Man, little Fang are doing a great job, though. Oh, it's not quite enough. The center's looking strong, though. There's still a lot of fortresses and a lot of Fang. Down goes some of the melting points. There's still 3 fortresses in the center. Maybe... Oh, the tower drops. 1 fortress on the right to stand strong. 3 on the left. It's gonna be enough. Mass Fortress Fang. And these little guys with the laser sights are huge. Look at them dance. A little bit of BM at the end of the game there. Wow. Look at all these little guys go. Well played, well played. GG. So let's take a quick look at the battlefield before we hop into the finals. These Stormcallers became more and more important as the game went on. They were kind of changed out here for the melting points, but I think actually leaving that Stormcaller here would have done very well. They were still getting a lot of kills, and strangely enough, the kills really matter against the Fang. They are huge units, and maybe giving them fire would have helped a little bit. Just the mass fortress, though, and I actually really like this fortress being placed in the background. That way it's a second layer. Really did help. This right flank just came in like a wrecking ball. The Wraith did fairly well, only getting 10 kills, though. It was really just more used for this, whatever this beam is. The Wraith is in a weird spot right now. I understand it's a new unit, and we're trying to figure out how to make it work, but it's like a weird, fat support unit that has pretty good HP, but as we saw, the Fang were able to kill it. So it is what it is. We'll see in the next round, guys. Also, perhaps playing out some flanking units would have been worthwhile, but these level 3 Fang in the background can kill basically anything that spawns in with huge range, so I understand why a red player didn't do it. Hard game. Hard game. And it's time for the finals. We have Lord once again versus our soon-to-be blue player. Lots of marksman here choices. Ooh, Giant Specialist with Steel Ball Fang. Very powerful. Pair this with a Vulcan, and you've basically got an unstoppable ground army. What is Lord going to pick up here? Played an extremely aggressive Fang game last time. None of these really lead very heavily into Fang, if that's what he'd like to do. Fang Tanks is actually quite strong. Instead, going with the... what did he pick up here? The Heavy Armor Specialist. Okay. Not bad. This should do fairly well. I would have to give it to our blue player, at least right now, as it looks like that will be enough. Ooh, and we have some Fang. Okay, so the Fang are actually more important in this round than you would have thought, as they will delay these steel ball shots, and if the steel balls can get caught up killing Fang, and there's enough wave clear in the form of these arknights and tanks, then it should go very much in the way of Lord. Let's see if our blue player can pull this off, but gotta give it to Lord in the early game. Also, hey, 30 viewers. Play Archers in it. A great YouTuber. That's me, Daddy Fat Sack. I don't recognize really anybody else. I think I've played against Rook once or twice, but could be wrong. All right, let's see how it goes. Double crawler, very important for the blue player. I think these crawlers are exceedingly good. They won't really last very long in the initial engagement, but as time goes on, just having two to 6 units of crawlers in your battle is just very important. Having them come in first, second, and then third waves, very, very powerful. And the midfield is really where I like to play my crawlers early, just because they tend to hit with things like my Fang, but in this case it won't matter too much, as there is just more than enough wave clear to get rid of these little crawlers. In fact, this Arclight might even be able to get some extra damage in. Yeah, it's killing crawlers while taking out the steel ball. That's pretty rough. A little bit of a positioning thing there. Is there going to be enough tanks to get rid of the steel balls, though? Ooh, let's see. There's one left. Yeah, with one left, it should be enough. There's more than enough on this left-hand side here for Lord as well. Tanks don't do well against Fang later in the game, but right now, not really much of an issue. Of course, these tanks can get the armor enhancement and field maintenance, so they won't have any problems dealing with Fang overall. The Fang, unless they have Ignite. No, they do not. Okay. Well, both players played pretty standard in the opening rounds. The air is still open to both players, but it won't really make that much of a difference. Steel balls worked well, but they'll just need a little bit of support in the form of some Mustang. Either could work out. Oh, tech spec. Are we going to see the Fang build? That's the opening hand that you want to see. That really does help. With 17% more HP. Our blue player picks the haste module. And the Vulcan. Yeah, so he's going to go with a super heavy ground army. I wonder if Lord is nervous about it, because this is a very standard ground army setup with a Vulcan. The Vulcan really being the main deal here. Good placement on this Vulcan, too. The Vulcan's actually got a little bit of boogie in him now at 11 meters a second. Lord actually picked up the underground threat. Oh, the underground threat's dead. I was going to say if it was played in the back or the middle, it might survive a little bit longer. Oh, he's moved it. Nope, back in the center. Some of these guys will split off left and right, but they're all going to die before getting support from the front. Let's see if Lord... He unlocked crawlers. Let's see if he plays any. Knowing that giants could come out at this point in the field, I tend to go with something that can actually deal damage to a giant, i.e. marksman or phoenix. Both would be very useful here. I'd probably go with the Phoenix, though, just because they can easily deal with steel balls. Oh, wow, crawlers in the back line already. actually drawing away these steel balls with the unit of crawlers. These crawlers won't kill it. Ah, they also do away the friendly crawlers though. They won't be able to kill it, but they will do significant damage against those steel balls. Okay, good distraction piece. If Lord wants to go heavily into a crawler build, but with this Vulcan on the field, there's nothing here that can contest the Vulcan. It's easily going to win this. These steel balls didn't really stand much of a chance. In fact, the majority of the right-hand side surviving thanks to these crawlers. Yeah, this left side has taken no damage though, and this Vulcan will be easily able to kill everything on the field. It's surprising how good Vulcan is against medium-sized units. Like, it is just the best ground-based giant in my mind. For dealing with other giants and for dealing with chaff. The fortress has a lot more utility, and the fact that, of course, it can get a tech upgrade to allow it to shoot up, and it can get shields and also spawn Fang, which in my mind are a little bit better than the best partner upgrade, just because 12 Fang can easily take out a sniper. But oh, steel balls are going to earn themselves a lot of extra HP, or XP. Sledgehammer's also always a good little bit too, though. A little bit back, but man, Lord's going to take quite the hit. Game's basically even now. Lord knows he has to deal with Vulcan. And the best way to deal with Vulcan is Phoenix. It used to be snipers. Oh, the Giant Hunter would be great here for Lord. Assuming that he can kill giants. But Giant Hunter basically shuts down Giant Specialist. Because if your opponent goes heavily into it, and you're able to kill 2 or 3 giants a turn, you're basically a top supply specialist for a lot less cash. Looks like it's going to be a melting point here for our blue player. Will Lord get Phoenix? Having 1 or 2 Phoenix on this flank would be very powerful. Man, these little crawlers, the distraction crawlers that could, basically just giving out XP at this point. Lord does opt to go with some Phoenix. Is he going to contest? Oh, I wouldn't contest. I would give this left side and go after the right. Great plays here by our blue player, though. This melting point, again, there's nothing here that can really deal with the giants. Lord's hoping to kill at least 1, maybe 2 giants this turn. Fang, where are you going? Looks like it's just some extra Fang here on the left to try and delay things even more. This isn't going to work very well. This left flank is already under too much. There's just too much coming in on it. Phoenix are going to be able to start plunking away at this Vulcan though. I don't know if they'll ever kill it. It's looking pretty good. They'll probably get the Vulcan. The right will go very much in the way of Lord as well. With those new level 2 tanks, they should be able to deal with this quite well. Down goes the Phoenix, so Lord will, down will go the Vulcan, so Lord will have an extra 50 bucks. These Phoenix, oh, they're shooting the wrong stuff though. Okay. Not bad. Lord's gonna really suffer against the Giant Specialist early, especially until he can start getting just Mass Phoenix out. Mass Phoenix with range basically deals with any giants. Of course, if those giants are supported by a bunch of chaff, that's where things get a little spicy. Let's see if he can take out this Arclight. This melting point. I'd be extremely, yeah, it's not going to happen. I would be extremely reticent if he did, but the tanks are earning themselves some more kills, and so are those Arclights. You know what actually does deal well with most giant units are Arclights. Leveled up Arclights with the full Arclight build. All the tech portable shield here for our blue player is going to be extremely damaging. Smoke bomb from Lord. Let's see what these Arclights have. Yeah, the electromagnetic shot plus charge shot. I would have swapped out the armor enhancement for the, whatever it is, elite marksman upgrade, just so that those guys can get insano range. It's got to be more Phoenix here for Lord. Smoke bomb's basically going to be useless. Very well played here by our blue player. But yeah, Lord's just got to go heavily into Phoenix. He should grab 2 more Phoenix and give them range, in my opinion. Great play here by our blue player, grabbing out another Vulcan. That will cut down this right flank exceedingly well. And the Vulcan can get the Ignite if the tanks become an issue. It's going to be 2 Phoenix and a Sledgehammer. Interesting choice. Is it going to be a 3rd Phoenix? No, more Sledgehammers. Okay. It's not great. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong. A slow build on Phoenix isn't bad because then your opponent's less likely to just pick up like a huge. But in this case, man, this right flank, it used to be the powerful side, is definitely going to fall very quickly. This Vulcan, not really doing much damage to the shields yet, but once the melting point comes online, all those shields will drop. Shield's actually very important here as it allows all of this chaff to die. There is a second wave of chaff that comes in due to those kind of misplaced crawlers. I'd like to see those crawlers recycled at this point. Lord will earn himself an extra 50 for killing off this Vulcan, though. I believe the Vulcan will fall. It just needs one more shot. Yeah, so the Vulcan will drop. That's pretty decent. So at least now Lord's made his investment back on the giant killer. If he can start killing off more of these giants, he'll be in a good spot. Ooh, Phoenix can earn a level. That will be very important later. These little tanks, they just can't do anything, though. It's a lot of damage coming out on Lord. The great thing about the giant specialist is that you accelerate the game so much. You're just able to keep punishing your opponent more and more. Oh, really? I was going to say the photon coating would be quite good. Orbital bombardment here by our blue player. He's going for the kill. And I don't blame him. Melting point by Lord. Getting a couple of these guys out would be fairly important, but he's got to be real careful about that orbital bombard. That's going to hurt. So the great thing about the melting point is if you can get it with range or energy diffraction, it can deal with a lot of these units. I like this. Kind of ignore the left flank. Ooh, he's not going to ignore it. He needs a shield. He doesn't know about it, but he needs a shield. Will we see another melting point to back up this Vulcan? Vulcan melting point is incredibly powerful as the Vulcan is able to just clear away all the chaff units, allowing the melting point to deal damage to the things that it needs to deal damage to. Man, our blue player is just dominating this game, making great choices all the time. We'll have to see how this works. I do like the level 2 Phoenix here. That gives them a significant power boost and damage. If Lord can survive another 2 rounds, that giant specialist will actually start to matter, or the giant hunter will actually start to matter. Right now he's basically just playing as a supply specialist, but he paid $100 for it. Oh my gosh, that bombardment could kill off so many things. Luckily the Phoenix have survived. Nope, down they all go. Oh, even the last one. Alright, that should be that. Oh, this melting point's going to earn itself quite the level, though. Taking out the enemy Vulcan, it's going to earn a little bit of XP. Good, it's already at level 2, that's what he wanted to see. This guy might even come online and take out the other enemy Vulcan. If that happens, it's an extra $100. That's a significant increase in cash, but I think it will be tough with the tower drop. That's a lot less damage. This little melting point might still get it, though. Oh man, that HP drop from the Vulcan is huge. As soon as the tower stops, though, we should see this thing melt away. There it goes. Alright, melting point's now at level 2 as well. If it can grab the electromagnetic barrage, it will help. Lord earns himself an extra 100, but man, is he low on HP. In the danger zone. Man, a Vulcan descent would be quite good here. Speed specialist by both players, though. So the reason the Vulcan can be really good is because the Vulcan does keep all of the upgrades. So if it was just to come in the center and deal a little bit of damage, that'd be pretty funny. Not a great play, but it would be a funny play. I'm not sure about these crawlers. You know, they're good delay crawlers, and they have been kind of delaying this flank for a long time. And granted, none of these units are leveling, so maybe not the worst case. Very good placement here of these undergrounds by Lord. We'll delay this entire center. More steel balls. Well, you see the melting points both go up to level 2. That's a huge increase in HP. And with the range increase, they might be able to get on these Vulcan a little bit earlier. Lord's out of cash without any shields. Our blue player's still playing out units. Increased range and speed. This could be huge. And of course, the mechanical range on the tanks does mean that they'll shoot down a lot of these units significantly quicker. Man, it's like watching the game in fast forward. These guys are all moving so darn quick. Melting point needs to come online early. It looks like it might come online against the enemy. Well, that's going to be tough to tell. Man, that's too much chaff, though. These melting points are not going to be able to kill what they need to kill, and that should be that. Yep, Lord overwhelmed by just the mass amounts of units. Even more in the background from that underground threat. Down go the melting points. GG, I believe we have our tournament winner. Granted, last time there was an odd number of players, but we'll have to see who wins and who loses. And I'm off to go get more free food once this tournament is done. I love a good bit of free food. If it's free, it's for me. What could have been done different? Honestly, some Mustang wouldn't have gone astray here for Lord, but it's tough going against a giant specialist. A lot of Phoenix would be okay, but they were kind of dealt with by just a mass amount of Fang. The Fang steel balls seem to be pretty darn strong. mixed in with the Vulcan. We predicted the Vulcan earlier in the game. Some Stormcallers would have been okay. Maybe even a War Factory, but man, tough game. Tough game. Be sure to like and subscribe while we sit here forever, waiting for a game to end. Yeah. And there we have it. Great tournament, everybody. Good to see Lord and Scey back in the game. Of course, they've been playing since the beta, I believe. Tons of players this round. I really enjoy these tournaments. Please let me know what you'd like to see. We've got some more games coming out on the channel here shortly. Been working on the editing as well as some vlogging with the wife. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you all shortly. Happy Veterans Day! Bye.